You've heard the phrase pick your battles, but what happens when you pick none? What happens when you spend years avoiding conflict, keeping the peace, being the reasonable one, and you wake up one day and realize you don't recognize yourself anymore? When does compromise stop being healthy and start being self-amputation? Today, we're not talking about dramatic blow-ups or obvious abuse. We're talking about something quieter, more dangerous, a slow poisoning that happens one small concession at a time. I'm breaking down the case of Michael, a 49-year-old architect who spent over a decade trading pieces of himself for peace. This is the story of the abandoned bicycle. And if you've ever found yourself asking permission for things that should never require permission, this is for you. We're looking at this through two lenses. First, power dynamics. Who has control, and how did they get it? Second, the psychology of coercive control. How do you trap someone without ever raising your voice? Let's start with how it began. Michael met Jennifer when he was 38. She managed a non-profit. He ran a small architectural firm. The early months were intense. She was passionate, driven, magnetic. But looking back, Michael remembers the first red flag clearly. 3 months in, Jennifer saw his cycling gear in the hallway. "You ride every weekend?" she asked. Michael nodded. "It's my reset. Been doing it for years." She smiled. "That's amazing." "I just sheepwast. I worry. The roads here are dangerous. And Saturdays are our only full day together." Michael didn't think much of it. She cared. That was good, right? By month 6, he was riding every other weekend. Then once a month. Jennifer never told him to stop. She just looked sad when he packed his gear. She'd mention a news story about a cyclist hit by a car. She'd sigh when he kissed her goodbye Saturday morning. Within a year, the bike hung in the garage, untouched. Stop right there. Notice what happened. Jennifer never forbade anything. She used concern, worry, guilt. This is manipulation 101. You don't control someone by force. You make them control themselves. You make them feel selfish for wanting what they want. Michael gave up cycling because keeping it felt like he was choosing a bike over her. That's the setup. And it works because good people don't want to be selfish. The pattern expanded. Michael's college friends still met monthly for poker. Jennifer didn't say he couldn't go. She'd just text him during the game. "You okay? When are you coming home?" "I'm here alone." One night, Michael got a text. "I'm not telling you not to go. I just think it's interesting you'd rather play cards than spend time with me." He read it twice. Then he looked around the table. Guys he'd known for 20 years, laughing, relaxed. He felt a knot in his stomach. He texted back, "Heading out soon." He stopped going to poker. Then he stopped seeing those friends altogether. It was easier than explaining why he always left early. Easier than feeling guilty. His best friend, Chris, texted him one Saturday, "Dude, we miss you. Ride next weekend?" Michael stared at the message on his phone screen. Jennifer was typing on her laptop in the living room. She always had work. He glanced at his helmet on a shelf. Then he looked at Jennifer. He flipped his phone over, screen down. "Can't make it," he typed back. He didn't give a reason. Watch what's happening. Michael isn't being threatened. He's being trained. Every time he wants something outside the relationship, he feels guilt. Every time he makes plans, he checks Jennifer's mood first. He's not asking for permission out loud, but he's asking. And here's the key: he's doing it to himself. That's genius-level control. You don't imprison someone, you get them to build their own cage. And the phone flip? That unconscious move? That's fear. He's hiding a text from a friend. Think about that. By year 5, Michael's life had shrunk. No cycling, no poker, no weekend trips. His social circle was Jennifer's friends, people who worked at her non-profit. When they visited his parents, Jennifer dominated the conversation. When his mom asked how he was, Jennifer answered for him. At work, Michael was still respected, but he noticed something. When clients called after 5, he'd hesitate before answering. If Jennifer was home, he'd check her expression first. If she looked annoyed, he'd let it go to voicemail. One evening, his phone rang. A client, big project. Jennifer was cooking dinner, her laptop open on the counter beside the stove. Michael reached for his phone, then stopped. He looked at her. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. He declined the call. Later that night, he stared at the ceiling. The client had called someone else. Michael felt relieved. Then he felt angry at himself for feeling relieved. Right here, this is the moment. Michael is angry at himself, not at her. That's the trap closing. When you're in a controlling relationship, You stop blaming the controller. You blame yourself for being weak, for being difficult, for causing problems. And look at the isolation. No friends, no hobbies. Even his work is being compromised. Jennifer doesn't need to lock him in the house. She's locked him in his own head. Every decision runs through her approval even when she's not in the room. That's total control. Year 10. Michael was sitting in his parked car outside his house. He just left a meeting. He didn't want to go inside. He couldn't explain why. He just sat there, engine off, hands on the wheel. His phone buzzed. "Jennifer, where are you?" He typed in the driveway. "Be in soon." "Is something wrong?" "No, just tired." He sat there another 5 minutes. Then he went inside. Jennifer was watching TV. "Long day?" she asked. He nodded. She patted the couch next to her. He sat. She leaned into him. "I don't know what I'd do without you," she said. Michael stared at the TV. He felt nothing. That night, he lay awake. A thought crept in. One he'd been pushing down for years. "I don't want this anymore." It terrified him. Not because he'd lose her, because he'd wasted 10 years. This is the endgame. Michael isn't even angry anymore. He's numb. That's what happens when you erase yourself slowly. You don't explode. You disappear. And notice that thought, "I've wasted 10 years. That's the sunk cost fallacy. It's the chain that keeps people in dead relationships, bad jobs, failing businesses. You've invested so much. Walking away feels like admitting defeat. But here's the truth: staying doesn't get your time back. It just adds to the loss. It took Michael another 6 months to leave. Not because he didn't know he should, because admitting he'd been controlled, that he'd let it happen, was unbearable. When he finally told Jennifer it was over, she didn't scream. She cried. "I don't understand. I've given you everything. You're throwing away 10 years. Michael didn't argue. There was no point. You can't explain coercive control to the person doing it. They don't see it as control. They see it as love. He moved out, filed for separation. For months, he felt guilty. Then one day, a year later, he was dating someone new, a woman named Rachel. They'd been seeing each other for 2 months. One Saturday morning, Michael mentioned he was thinking about getting back into cycling. Rachel looked up from her coffee. "Oh, that sounds great. You should." Michael waited for the concern, the guilt trip, the sigh. "Nothing." "Really?" he said. "Yeah." "Why not?" "I'll probably go to yoga. We can meet for lunch after." Michael sat there, stunned. It had never occurred to him that someone could just let him go. That's when he realized how abnormal the past decade had been. Michael's story is the story of a boiling frog. The temperature rose so slowly he didn't realize he was being cooked. His virtuous desire to be the good guy, the peacekeeper, was the weapon used to dismantle him. This wasn't a partnership. It was a hostile takeover of his identity. Let's name what happened. This is coercive control. It's not about violence or threats. It's about making someone's world smaller and smaller until you're the only thing in it. Jennifer didn't need to lock the door. She made Michael afraid to open it. And here's the psychology: guilt is the most effective prison. Physical chains, you can see, you can fight them. But guilt? Guilt makes you volunteer. It makes you the warden of your own cell. Every time Michael wanted something, he felt selfish. Every time he said no to her, he felt cruel. That's not love. That's conditioning. Now, Nietzsche wrote about the will to power. Some people need to feel powerful by making others feel small. Jennifer didn't need Michael to thrive. She needed him to shrink. His independence was a threat. His friends were competition. His hobbies were abandonment. So she didn't attack them. She made him abandon them himself. And the sunk cost fallacy, the 10-year trap, that's the final lock. You stay not because it's good, but because leaving means admitting you were wrong for a decade. But here's the reality: those 10 years are gone whether you leave or stay. Staying doesn't redeem them. It just sentences you to 10 more. If you're in this situation, man or woman, romantic relationship or workplace, here's what you do. 1. Stop calling it compromise. Compromise is mutual. What Michael experienced was surrender. If your peace requires your silence, your isolation, your smallness, that's not peace. That's captivity. 2. Document your own reality. Coercive controllers are experts at making you doubt yourself. Write down what you want, what you used to do, what you've stopped doing. Read it back. If you're checking someone's mood before answering your phone, before seeing your friends, before living your life, you already know the answer. And 3. Understand that you can't negotiate with someone who benefits from your confusion. Jennifer didn't want Michael to be happy. She wanted him to be hers. You don't reason with that. You leave. Here's the verdict: your loyalty to a situation that's destroying you isn't virtue. It's self-destruction. The person you were before you started shrinking? That person is still possible, but not while you're asking permission to exist. The choice isn't whether to leave. It's whether you're willing to admit you've been controlled. And that admission? That's not weakness. That's the first act of taking your power back.